Hi everyone, I'm Dr. M. Sujarita, Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Sri Krishna College of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. In today's class, I would like to explain what is CLR parser and how to construct parsing table for this CLR parser and LALR parser. These parsers comes under the category bottom-up parsers. Let me explain what is bottom-up parser. This bottom-up parser takes a string as the input and creates parse tree as the output. This parse tree starts from the leaves and moves towards the root. So that's why it is called as bottom-up parser. This bottom-up parser finds the rightmost derivation of the given input in the reverse order. It is also known as shift-reduce parsing because it has two important functions. The first function is shift function, the second one is reduce function. In the shift function, it pushes the current symbol onto the top of the stack. In reduce function, it uses a production and it pops all the symbols that match the right hand side of the production and pushes the left hand side non-terminal of the production onto the stack. There are two more operations. The first one is accept, the second one is error. In LR parsing, L stands for left to right scanning and R stands for rightmost derivation. K indicates look ahead. Here the K value is 1 because it scans one symbol at a time. There are three types of LR parsers. First parser is SLR parser, second one is canonical LR, third one is look ahead LR. In my last video, I have explained what is SLR, how to construct parsing table for SLR and how to parse the string in the SLR. In today's class, I would like to explain how to construct parsing table for the canonical LR parser and LALR parser. This is the LR parsing architecture. Here we have an algorithm. This algorithm is common to SLR, CLR and LALR. This SLR parsing algorithm uses the parsing table. In this parsing table, we have two parts. The first part is action table, second part is go to table. And in the stack, we have symbols and state numbers. Every symbol is followed by a state number. And it takes the input and creates the parse tree as the output for the accepted string. There are two types of conflicts. The first conflict is shift-reduce conflict. Second conflict is reduce-reduce conflict. If we have any of these conflicts in the parsing table, especially in SLR parsing table, then we would say that grammar is not SLR1 grammar. Then we have to compute CLR parsing table for that grammar. I have taken an example. In this example, I have taken assignment grammar. For this assignment grammar, I have computed LR0 items. These are all collections of sets of LR0 items. Using these collections of sets of LR0 items, I have computed the parsing table. In this parsing table, we are getting shift-reduce conflict. So that's why this grammar is not SLR1 grammar. Then we have to compute CLR1 parsing table. Now I am going to explain how to construct CLR parsing table. The difference between SLR parsing table construction and CLR parsing table construction is, in SLR parsing, we are dealing with LR0 item. In CLR parsing, we are dealing with LR1 item. A rule is called LR1 item if there are two parts in the right hand side. The first part is called core part, the second part is called look ahead part. In the core part, we are placing a dot at some position. If there is look ahead, then it is called LR1 item. If there is no look ahead, then it is called LR0 item. So now I am going to explain how to compute closure operation and go to operation. In closure operation, the I is the input, where I is the set of LR1 items. Here we have two rules to compute the closure function. According to first rule, the LR1 items in the I is placed in the output. According to second rule, if we have rules such as A tends to alpha dot B beta comma A, then we have to add all the B rules because we have B after this dot. So we are adding all the B rules. Before adding all the B rules, we are placing the dot at the right hand side, at the beginning of the right hand side. Next, we have to compute the look ahead for this new rule. The procedure for computing look ahead is we have to compute first of beta A, where beta is the remaining part. That is, after B we have some symbols. This set of symbols is called beta. We are combining this beta and A. Then we are computing first of beta A. The output of this first of beta A is called B. The next function is goto function. There are two inputs for this goto function, where I is the LR1 item and X is the symbol for which we are computing goto function. This X symbol is placed after this dot. In the output, the dot operator is moved one step ahead. This dot operator is placed after this dot, and for this new rule we are computing the closure function. So this is the output for this goto function. This is the procedure for constructing canonical LR1 collection. The starting point is from the kernel item. This is called kernel item. The kernel item is S dash tends to dot S. This is the extra rule, and we have added the look ahead. That look ahead is dollar, where dollar is the special rule. This is the starting point of the canonical collection item, and the closure operation and goto operations are repeatedly computed for computing this collection set. And if we have rules such as the core parts are same and the look aheads are different, means we can combine all the look aheads. This is the procedure. Now I am going to explain how to construct canonical LR1 collection. This is the given input grammar. This is assignment grammar. I have added one extra rule, that is called augmented grammar, and the kernel item is S dash tends to dot S comma dollar. We are computing closure function for this kernel item. According to closure function, here we have dot and S. So S is after this dot, we have to add all the S rules. After that we have to compute the look ahead. For computing look ahead, we have to compute first of beta A. Here beta is nothing. There is no beta in this point. So dollar is the beta A. First of dollar is beta. So the look ahead for this S rule is dollar. So we are placing dollar. Then we have to continue this process. Here we have L after this dot. So add all the L rules. For these L rules, we have to again compute look ahead. Here the beta is equal to R. A is dollar. For this beta A, the first of beta A is equal to. So we are adding this look ahead here, equal to. Next we have R after this dot. So add the R rule. And R is followed by nothing. So dollar. First of dollar is dollar. In this R rule, again we have L. Already we have added this L rules, but the look ahead for this L rule is different. The look ahead for this L rule is dollar. For this L rule is equal to. So we have added both the look aheads for this set. So now this is the I0 set. Next we are going to compute goto function for the symbols that come after the dot. Here we have S, L, R, star, ID, and once again L after this dot. So we are computing goto function for these symbols. According to goto function, we have to move this dot one step forward. So we have moved this dot one step forward. After we have to compute closure function, but at this point there is no need to compute closure function. So stop the process. So we have to continue this process for all the sets. Then we will get the complete canonical LR1 collections. The next step is constructing parsing table using this canonical LR1 collection. Here there are two parts. The first part is called action table. The second part is called goto table. In the action table, we have only shift operation and reduce operation and accept operation. In goto table, we have only state numbers. Now we will see the procedure for computing this action table and goto table. For computing action table, there are three rules. See, in every goto function, we have input state and output state. See, if the input state is II means we have to see the ith row and A column. A is the symbol. A column and the output should be shift J. The state number of the output is placed in the entry. According to second rule, we have to verify all the boxes. If any of the rules n means, then we have to put reduce and that rule number in that entry. That is, in ith box, if that rule ends means, then we have to put in ith row A column. Here A is the look ahead. Say for that look ahead, we have to put reduce function. And according to third rule, if the special symbol ends, then we have to put accept as the output. So using this procedure, now we have to compute action table. Let me take one example. See here I0, let us take I0 star. So I0 is the input, I0 is the input and I4 is the output. So we have to put in 0th row star column S4. So 0th row star column S4. Similarly in 0th row ID column S5 because the output is I5. So 0th row ID column S5. In reduce operation, see we have to see which rule ends in which box. See here we have that rule, that is R tends to L dot. Fifth rule ends in ends means the dot will be placed at the last position. So this rule ends. So in the box number is I2. So in second row we have to place R5 because the rule number is 5. R indicates reduce operation, 5 indicates rule number. In dollar column we have to place this R5. So in second row dollar column we have to put R5. So like similarly we have to fill all the items and $1 is always accept. So now we'll see the procedure to fill this go to table. In go to table there is only one rule, go to of I1 comma A, where A is the non-terminal, we have to put just J. Here there is no shift operation, the J is the state number. Let us take one example. See in 0th row S column, 0th row S column we have 1 because I1 is the output. So 0th row S column we are placing 1. So in such a way we are computing the CLR parsing table and there is no shift reduce conflict or reduce conflict. So we can say this grammar is CLR1 grammar. This is LALR parser. LALR stands for look ahead LR. It's the next version of CLR1 parsing table and we can also say it's a compressed form of CLR1 parser. The input for this LALR parsing table is CLR1 parsing table. The process we are doing here is shrinking the number of states. So the output is LALR parser. During this shrinking process, we may introduce reduce conflict. If any of the reduce conflicts is introduced means then that the grammar is not LALR1 grammar. But during this shrinking process, there is no chance for introducing shift reduce conflict. So now we'll see how to merge the sets. There are two sets, I1 and I2. In these two sets, the core parts are same. The look aheads are different. So we can merge these two sets and the new set is named as I12. Since the name of the first set is 1 and the name of the second set is 2, the name of the new set is I12. So this is the canonical LR1 collection of CLR1 table. Here we are identifying the sets which has same core part. See here in I4 we have 4 rules, in I11 we have 4 rules, the same rules are presented here. The only difference is the look ahead of I11 is $, the look ahead symbols of I4 is $, and equal to. So we can merge these two rules. Similarly, we can merge 5 and 12 because the core parts are same, 7 and 13, 8 and 10. So after merging, we can get the canonical collection like this. 4 and 11 are merged, 5, 12 after merging 5 and 12, 7, 13 after merging 7 and 13, 8, 10 after merging 8 and 10. So this is the LALR parsing table. In this table, we are getting only 10 states from 0 to 9. But in CLR1 parsing table, we had 0 to 13 states, provided there is no shift-reduce conflict and no reduce-reduce conflict. So this grammar is LALR1 grammar. So this is the compressed form of CLR1 parsing table. So now I have given some assignment problems. You can apply these procedures on these problems, on these grammars. Thank you very much.